So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden history of one of the most powerful cultural forces on the entire planet. And let me tell you, this is not the story you think you know. This is the secret blueprint, the untold origin story of hip-hop.
Now, to really get this, you have to do something kind of weird. You have to forget about what you hear. Because this story, it doesn't start with a sound coming out of a speaker.
No, it begins with what you feel, a physical, almost spiritual vibration. See, long before we all had music crammed into our headphones, there was a whole culture built around a sound so powerful it was less about listening and more of a full-body event.
And to understand that, we have to go to the backstreets of Kingston, Jamaica. This is a place where sound wasn't just, background noise. It was a force of nature, a force that could literally shake the foundations of buildings and bring an entire community together. This is the story of the sound system.
Okay, so our story kicks off in the late 1940s. And you've got to understand, this isn't a story about art. Not really. It's a story about war. A fierce competition for sonic dominance that would, completely by accident, change music forever.
And these are our generals, Tom the Great Sebastian, Duke Reid, and Sir Coxsone Dodd. Now, they all started out as regular business owners, right? They'd use a simple turntable and a speaker to pull customers into their liquor stores. But that simple idea, it quickly morphed into a mission to sonically annihilate the competition. The rivalry between Duke Reid and Coxsone Dodd especially just fueled this incredible escalation. I mean, if Duke showed up with a 20-watt amplifier, you can bet Coxsone was already working on a 50-watt system. It was this constant battle of one-upmanship. Who could be louder, who could be clearer, who could be more powerful? This competition got so intense, they actually called it musical warfare. I mean, to protect their edge, sound system owners would go all the way to the US to import these rare R&B records, and then they'd literally scratch the labels clean off. These tracks were their secret weapons, and this was how you made sure nobody could copy your playlist. It was absolutely ruthless.
So, what exactly were these weapons of sound? Well, to get their impact, you really have to understand the different parts. These systems weren't something you could just go buy in a store. They were hand-built, custom-designed machines, and each one had a specific crew running the show.
All right, first up, you have the selector. Think of the selector as the strategic mastermind of the whole crew. This was the person with the crate of those exclusive label-scratched records, and they had this crucial skill of knowing exactly which track to drop at the exact right moment to send the crowd into a frenzy and totally intimidate the other sound systems.
Then you had the toaster, or the DJ. This person was the voice of the whole operation. While the selector was playing the instrumental breaks of a record, the toaster would grab the mic and just start rhyming, shouting out catchphrases and hyping up the crowd. Sound familiar? It should. This is the direct ancestor of the modern rapper. And finally, there was the engineer, who was really the heart of the entire operation. These were the technical wizards who designed and built these massive speaker stacks, often called the House of Joy. And they were tuned for one thing: maximum bass impact, creating vibrations that you could feel streets away. This was pure innovation, born from pure competition. So this relentless arms race, well, it pretty soon created a brand new problem. With everyone so desperate for exclusive tracks, the supply of rare American R&B records just started to run dry. They needed a new source of musical ammunition. So what do you do when you can't find the music you need? Simple. You make it yourself. The sound system pioneers, guys like Coxsone Dodd, they opened their own recording studios to create exclusive tracks that nobody else had. And in doing so, they completely accidentally invented Jamaica's own unique sounds. First came ska, and then came rocksteady. But this culture, this technology, this entire musical philosophy, it wasn't going to stay locked on one little island. It migrated, and it carried the blueprint for a whole new revolution right across the water with it. By now, you're probably asking the obvious question, right? A musical arms race, toasters rhyming on a mic, these massive custom speakers. What in the world does any of this have to do with the birth of hip-hop? Well, as it turns out, everything.
The year is 1973. The place, 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx, New York. And a back-to-school party is about to happen that is literally going to go down in history.
And the person throwing that party? It's a young man named DJ Kool Herc. And here's the crucial link. Herc had grown up in Kingston. He had seen the sound clashes. He knew the blueprint by heart because, well, he had lived it.
At his party, Herc used the exact same techniques he'd seen growing up.
He hauled in massive speakers to get that physical bass feeling. He used two turntables, not to mix songs together, but to isolate and extend the instrumental breakbeat, that drum-heavy part of a song that everybody loves to dance to. And, just like in Kingston, he had a friend on the microphone, rhyming to hype the crowd. A toaster, right there in the Bronx.
Today, the world calls that party the birth of hip-hop. But as the saying goes, for the pioneers back in Kingston, what Kool Herc did that night? Well, that was just standard procedure. It was just another Saturday night.
You see, the legacy of the sound system is so much bigger than just one genre. It's this cultural force that is echoed across the entire globe, and it's continuously evolving and inspiring totally new forms of expression.
I mean, when Jamaican immigrants brought the sound system culture to the UK, it laid the foundation for entirely new genres. The DNA of the sound system is all over jungle, dubstep, and grime. That focus on heavy bass, the role of the MC, it's a direct line.
But really, when you get down to it, the sound system is so much more than just wood and wire and vinyl. For communities all around the world, it became a symbol of resistance, a mobile community center, and for a lot of people, a spiritual gathering, a church for those who find their God in the bass line.
So it really leaves us with one last thought. We all know that hip-hop grew into this global movement that completely changed the world. But now that we've seen the original plans, the question is, who do we thank for the blueprint?